Platinum's the best.
Platinum's the best.
And what do we expect from the Smiths but the best?
Yeah.
Mr. Platinum Smith.
I'm pretty sure it was the gray that they were referring to.
Forget the distinguished gentleman. He's now Platinum Smith.
Platinum Smith.
Keller Williams recognized this week. Yes, Realty Partners. What was the exact title? I'm going to have to go to Yona's page because she published it. You shared it from Yona's page. It's not on Keith's page. You shared it.
What did we talk about before we went live? Well,
I love Yona Smith so much. I do.
Yeah.
She's the best.
Yeah.
You outkicked your coverage with that one.
I don't even know. I can't even put it into words. But yeah, it's unbelievable how awesome and lucky I am. It's how awesome and lucky I am to sit here and do this.
Oh, no doubt. And we're currently, I got the text from the Better Half, the moms groups walking around the loop listening to us right now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, moms.
Moms, if you have any questions about real estate, jump in. Keith Smith, Platinum Smith will answer that for you. That's a great nickname over there.
Yeah.
Here's the exact title, the exact award. This is a legit great award for Yes Realty Partners.
Yeah.
Well, you've been active on social media lately.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
I for some reason, I knew this morning was going to start off this way. Thank you.
The 2021 Platinum Award for Yes Realty Partners. Yona and Emily and Christopher, Jason, Gavin.
Gavin, there you go.
Sherwood's the man. He's got the best hair in the business, Gavin Sherwood.
No.
That's around here. He shakes his head. We love Sherwood.
No.
You know I love Sherwood.
Yeah, we may love him, but we're getting a bit carried away about the best hair in the business.
All right, Judah Whitcower, we got to see.
Mr. Eagle has the best hair.
Oh, Christopher Eagle's dapper. We got to get Platinum Smith on. We'll get those cameras ready whenever you're ready.
I just want to have fun today.
Oh, it's going to be so fun. Good Friday morning, guys. I'm Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk with Keith Smith, Platinum Smith, on a Friday on the I Love Seville Network. The Yes Realty Partners, folks, the YRP team we have come to love and adore and appreciate and cherish, were acknowledged and awarded this past week. In fact, just a few days ago, the 2021 Keller Williams Alliance Platinum Award.
Well, there was a couple, in fairness, there was a couple other Platinums, I think.
Oh, Quinn Beckham's team.
Beckham's team won it, but that was quite an honor. Frankly, we didn't expect it.
Quite an honor in your first year of business.
Yeah, well, it's the first year of business as YRP,
yeah.
but as you know, we've been around
since '87.
We've been around the block a little bit, but it's interesting. I texted you privately, and I was running. I hate to jinx myself, right? Because we're not quite done.
Knock on wood.
We're not. Yeah, we're
not going to. the end of the month.
We're not the end of the month yet. But actually, if we
somewhere Yona's listening to this and saying, "Keith, don't do it."
No. I know she's doing a listing presentation.
Okay. Because she does. She has got a little superstition.
Yeah. She's doing a listing presentation right now. So
she's working.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you'd like to put a finer point on it, she's actually working. Thank you, Mr. Miller. I appreciate that. You know, I'm wondering why I come here to get abused on.
No,
on a regular,
you love it.
I do love it. You know, I was telling somebody the other day, when you stop busting my chops, then I know you don't love me.
Oh, we kid because we care.
That's exactly right. So what I was getting at, there's a lot of news out there about the market shifting, and we've been calling it O-shift for a while, and if you go back and take a look at the end of last year, you and I kind of called what's going to happen here on that end of it. But if everything closes, we're going to actually end up with the best July we've ever had.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And that doesn't even include the commercial stuff that I've got in the pipeline.
That is amazing.
On that end of it. So yeah, so I'm, and it's funny because I went on my bike ride this morning, and I was trying to reconcile it. Right? Well, why are we right? What if the market's really shifting? why are we? And I haven't come up with the answer yet. It's probably Mrs. Smith.
I know what the answer is.
I think it's Mrs. Smith is what the answer is.
I know what the answer is. Tyler Sewell, welcome to the broadcast on LinkedIn. The answer is this. You guys work hard. You guys have a pristine reputation. You care about the client. It's not a transaction. It's about the relationship.
Absolutely.
And you're surrounded by good people.
Absolutely. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's 100,000 or 100 million.
I mean, it's.
I'd like the 100 millions, but
you guys do phenomenal work. Now, here's the question. Does the momentum continue into Q3, Q4? That's what we're all wondering.
Yes.
And you sent me that Yahoo link. I don't know if you want to talk about that link that's circulating around, the one you sent me last night.
And then the one that you sent me from Bright.
Yeah.
From
Certivant.
Yeah,
from Lisa.
Lisa. Yeah. So we'll tackle whatever we want to tackle. Hopefully, some of the fine listeners and viewers will chime in, and as we always do, and have fun and kind of take it a little bit. So I'm going to change it up a little bit.
Please.
You and I spend a lot of time together.
We do.
Where I didn't even check it, but we're approaching 350 shows awfully fast.
Okay.
What do you think about those two articles? What is your takeaway from the Yahoo?
All right. So why don't I
think they're connected.
They are connected. Yeah. They're 100% connected. So why don't I set the stage so the viewers and listeners kind of know what we're talking about? Keith and I text often. A lot of it's fun nature, ribbing. Some of it's preparation for the show.
And I interrupt the squash game from time to time.
I have it on my watch. I get the message on my watch. So like I was playing squash. Text message from Keith Smith. Text message from Keith Smith. No, it's all right.
Did I impact the game?
No, you did not impact the game at all.
So you won, in other words.
I did. So this comes from Fortune, and now all like the syndicating outlets are syndicating it and getting it out there. The headline is a housing recession is the first step. A housing recession is the first step to a Fed-induced recession. Here's where the housing market goes next. And then they make a correlation to Volcker, the Fed chair in the 80s, who took interest rates, as Keith knows, as high as 18%.
Yeah.
And then I'll set the final stage here. Historically speaking, the Federal Reserve's inflation-fighting playbook always starts with housing. It goes like this. The central bank begins by applying upward pressure on mortgage rates. Not long afterwards, home sales sink and existing home inventory spike. Then home builders begin to cut back. That causes demand for both commodities like lumber and steel and durable goods like windows and refrigerators to fall. Those economic contractions then quickly spread throughout the rest of the economy and in theory help to rein in the runaway inflation. So basically the theory from this article is you want to put inflation in check. It starts with housing, because once housing cools, it impacts everything. As Keith has highlighted in this show so many times, housing is paramount to the nation's economy.
Not me.
Yeah, the numbers back it up.
Well, the good doctor, right?
Second largest.
The second largest gross domestic product.
In the Commonwealth.
In the Commonwealth. I suspect it's probably around the world.
Yeah.
Assuming the country anyway. In our state, it's only second to the local government as far as overall volume of GDP. Did I do that right? Gross domestic product on that end of it. So, I mean, all one needs to do is go back to the time of great unpleasantness. And I want to give a little shout out to Kevin Higgins. He gave me a call on the way in to help him with something, and I just want to let him know that I was deeply respected. He thought enough of me to pick up and help him with
King of Greenwood, Kevin Higgins.
Yeah, he had a little issue he needed some help with, and I helped guide him. So I just wanted to say thank you publicly to him for doing that. But the good doctor was on the show, I guess, a couple of years ago, and if you keep on tracking that, housing touches everything. So in the time of great unpleasantness, one just needs to look back to that, right? When there was a pretty large, a pretty substantially large impact on housing. I don't know if that even makes any sense. It impacted everybody, right? So I was thinking about this morning. All you have to do is pull down the Partners tab on Keith Smith, Real Talk with Keith Smith on that, and take a look at everybody that's in the ecosystem on it, and they touch everybody, every type of part of the economy around that. So it was just really super interesting how you correlated the two articles. Look, I don't know if this is just us, right? But I think we'll skate out 2022 with I think the sales volume will be down, but I think the appreciation will go up in the lower single-digit numbers. Maybe some people are saying close to 8%. In preparation to today's show, and I sent you a screenshot. I pulled out my 2020 business plan.
Yeah.
And to take a look at, I project out 5 years and kind of take a look at where we're at, and thanks to you guys and the people that are in the partners and all our agents and Quentin Beckham and everybody in our lives, we're more than doubling our projections where we set up that way. But it was
amazing. Congratulations.
But it was interesting. In that business plan, I call 2023 as being the year of shifting.
Turmoil.
Well, of shifting. I don't think
you were close. 6 months.
I missed it by about 6 months.
Yeah, that's a great read. I think it's pretty damn good.
If you've been doing this as long as I have, if you can't catch a couple of them right.
Yeah. So you got it. You nailed it again. Nicholas Erpy, good morning. Holly
Nicholas,
Herring,
how are you?
good morning and welcome to the program. So do you see it playing that way with housing? I don't.
So look, we're back to the beginning, whatever that means, right?
What does that mean?
Yeah, so we're back to the 5 things I've constantly preached, right?
Okay,
right.
Gotcha.
So the location matters, right? So this Yahoo article is a huge kind of national picture, right? On that end of it. And if you take a look at Dr. Lisa Sturtevant's assessment of the Mid-Atlantic, right? It's a little different than the national end of it, but kind of tracking similar to it. But if you take a look, and I haven't had an opportunity to look at Lake Monticello, I'm going to try to do this live here. We're still so under inventoried in the buyers. But I will tell you, our last 2 to 4 weeks, this is part I was helping Kevin with, part of our last 2 to 4 weeks, there's all kind of work that has to go on now that you actually have to be a professional between contract and close. We just, negotiating now home inspections.
The best analogy was your wife's analogy. During COVID, even turkeys could fly in a hurricane.
Well, she stole that from Brian Buffini. But
that's a great analogy right there. And that's the most shade ever you will ever hear Yonah throw about anything. I think that was the meanest thing I've ever heard Yonah ever say. And it's really not that mean, but that was the meanest thing I ever heard her say.
Where did my wife go? Who is this person?
I liked it.
I know you liked it, but I was like, whoa, whoa. We need to get her on the show a little bit more often. Yeah, but again, somebody has to actually go out there and do the listing appointments and stuff like that.
You're consulting with viewers and listeners. You love doing stuff like that.
I love it. I love, I guess one of the things that excites me a little bit is, I am personally positive about the future in real estate. Is it going to be different? Absolutely. I also like buyers, working with buyers a little bit more. Not that we don't do listings, I do quite a few of them, but I do like the buyer side of it, mainly because I like the negotiation portion of it. It's just what I like to do.
And you like making dreams
deals
come true.
Yeah. I mean, we like helping people get in there. But I think if you read the Good Doctor's analysis or article, what concerns me...
And to put background on her, Dr. Lisa Sturtevant is the Bright
chief economist.
Chief economist.
Yeah.
Okay, and explain folks what Bright is. A lot of people don't know Bright either, because I'm seeing that question here.
Yeah, so Bright is a regional MLS. It kind of handles the Northeast. It's several different states and that kind of stuff. Carr has its own footprint. So what happens is there's these little footprints of MLS, multiple listing services around that. So Bright just has this Northern Virginia kind of footprint on it. I think Richmond has its own. We have our own. We data share with the other side of the mountain. We actually data share with Bright, so we can share information back and forth on it.
And Lisa, Dr. Sturtevant was previously the Virginia Realtors chief economist, right?
Correct.
And she, during COVID, took another job.
Yeah, I mean,
is that right?
I was I'm happy for her, but was also a little sad to see her.
She's talented.
She's talented and she has a good read. So if you start digging into this a little bit, and I think you've been calling this all along, there's not only location, but price is going to matter, right? Price is going to matter more than anything. And, at certain entry levels, it's going to take a lot more work to get it across the finish line. Maybe in the upper levels, not so much, right? But, we're working on a couple of first-time home buyers. You've got to spend a little bit more time with them, make sure that they're working with a trusted advisor such as Scott Morris or Ross Mortgage on that end of it, and the rest of our partners on it, and really get this scoped out before you start the closing process, because, frankly, the underwriters are taking a harder look at everything, and maybe something that passed by 6 months ago or 12 months ago is not passing by. An example of that, there's a client, we'll leave details out of it, but there is a buyer out there that is buying something that had a lien on it back in the 1980s, I think in 87 on that end of it, and it got found now. And there was multiple houses that closed since then. And how come it got missed? And what can we do to fix it? How can we help the client?
How do you fix that?
Yeah, so
that home has got a lien. Which
well, so here's the point: we don't know if it has a lien or not. It showed up in the excuse me, I can do this in the title search.
Yeah, right.
Right, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's there, right? It could have been removed. That when the title person did the search, he or she missed the removal on it. But these things tend to show up at the 11th hour, like we're closing today, right? So and so the way you fix that is you start doing the W questions. Okay, who were involved with? Where are we at? You start putting everybody around a table, and we start asking questions on what we can do to help fix it. And there's multiple answers to it. This is not one answer. My hope is that it was an oversight. My advice was go back to the 2010 sale and see if you can get the title search from 2010 and see if it's clear, and make an argument that we're going to start from 2010 and forward because there was an insurance policy in place in 2010. But this is very new, right? And I don't have a lot of details on it from this point forward.
Dan Pettit, good morning.
Hey,
he says,
Dan.
hello, fellas. We love you, Dan Pettit. Hope you have a tennis match in the near future, my friend. Ray Cadell has the best comment ever. Ray Cadell has been grinding, and to grind for Ray Cadell means he's the best horn player in the United States, playing fantastic music and entertaining people. He says this, you're going to love this comment. He goes, I'm on the road a lot for music, and tuning into the I Love Seville network to hear a familiar voice and some programming about Charlottesville wherever I am is always refreshing. He says, do I always agree? No, but you guys always make me think.
Well, thank you, Ray. Thank you, Ray. That's man, you do a bike ride and you kind of not feeling so well because you got a bit of a cold.
You feel great now, don't you?
I feel great now.
You look great.
And then a little
Platinum Smith,
and then you have a comment like that. Go, yeah, okay, great. And look, I think that's what we do, right? We don't have to necessarily agree on something.
Oh yeah,
right.
In fact, the best talk shows are when you don't agree constantly with the host.
It's kind of like a marriage, right?
Yeah.
So right.
People want to see the disagreement.
Yeah. So it's kind of any relationship. If we were exactly the same, boy, that'd be awfully boring, wouldn't it?
Right. So this question's come in for Keith. It's from Sarah watching the program. Jerry, you referenced that article from Fortune and Yahoo, and you talked that the housing recession is the first step in controlling inflation. You mentioned cost of goods coming down. Haven't you guys mentioned in previous shows that the cost of goods have started dropping?
I think it's specific, right? Very specific.
You know more about this than I do.
Well, yes and no. I think we both have the same information.
Lumber stabilized.
Excuse me?
Lumber has stabilized.
Lumber has stabilized. It's interesting when you read this article. I remember this in the 80s when the builders were showing up with 2x4s at the Stennet to kind of help us move this along a little bit. Look, some of the staples are changing. I consider gas a staple.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. That's starting to stabilize, you would say.
Yeah, but as Yona reminded me, as I filled up at $3.88 at Costco a year ago, it was a buck and something cheaper, right?
But to your point, where you guys call the COVID period the anomaly, probably the anomaly for gas as well, because there was a lot less fuel demand during COVID. People were staying home, price went down.
Well, I'll tell you what, my friend, as you know, we were up in Connecticut, I think it was last week, right?
What's the gas there?
Oh, it's got a 5 in front of it.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, it's the taxes and stuff.
Everything up there.
But the point I was going to make was going up and coming down. It was just, it was 95 was just packed.
Yeah.
I saw no reduction in traffic. Now, that's not scientific or whatever. It'd be interesting to ask
Ray Cadell
and because he's traveling all over all over the country, actually. Is he seeing traffic or congestion kind of reducing a little bit? That'd be a great question for Ray. But
Woody Fincham's got a comment for the show. Woody Fincham, Fisham and Associates. All around A-plus person. Woody
A+++.
We love you. We are starting to get ridiculous revision requests. Remember, he's an appraiser, Woody Fincham. He also says, I think lenders have slowed down and are actually reading appraisals again. They always wait until it's getting ready to close to ask. It's very frustrating.
And that's, and that's so interesting. I was having a conversation with a gentleman on the way in about this. You're starting to see a lot of this. It actually was an agent from another firm that was asking me a question. And they were kind of asking me, why are some of these things getting caught? And I think Woody's spot on, right? It's, maybe some of the stuff didn't get caught because there was a volume. It seems when you have this shift happening, and Woody would be the perfect litmus test on this if this is really the case, and I would take him 100% at his word. The reality of it is, I think people are looking at things a little harder now, which is not a bad thing.
No.
Right?
No.
But you got to have the skills to help navigate your buyer or your seller through this, and frankly, time is one of the things that helps you with that. On that end of it.
How about this one for Dan Pettit? So Dan Pettit, 4,300 homes roughly at Lake Monticello. Does Dan have an investment property over there?
Yeah, I think Dan knocks on my door every once in a while and he goes, "Are you being a good boy?"
Dan Pettit would be a great neighbor. So 4,300 roughly homes, Dan, in Lake Monticello. On Wednesday's show, and Keith, I believe, on the fly here, is calling up the numbers for the lake.
I'm trying.
So I'm going to kill a little time because I know he's searching right now.
And his ADD is kicking in.
Right now he's looking at basketball when he should. No, I'm just joking. 4,300.
Oh, no, I'm on Facebook looking at some memes. Oh, I'm supposed to help you?
He's watching himself on social.
So we got 20 list. Hold on a second. Let me
21. Was it Wednesday?
No, keep on going. Keep on going.
4,300 homes at Lake Monticello. It's the largest neighborhood in Central Virginia is Lake Monticello from a rooftop count standpoint, roughly 4,300. So many, for 2 years or so during the pandemic, you would have single-digit listings in a 4,300 neighborhood home. So like 5 homes on the market, 4 homes on the market, 3 homes for most of the pandemic. And these homes were literally trading in like 24 hours in multiple offer scenarios. And now at Lake Monticello, well, as of Wednesday, you have accurate data for now? How many?
24, but 2 of them are new construction.
Okay, so are those the paper houses?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so 22 existing?
Correct, 22 existing.
So that's 5% of the neighborhood is on the market.
5%.
I mean, 1% is 43. If 1% is 43.
So it's 0.5.
Oh, excuse me, 0.0. Yeah, you're right. Half a point.
Even I knew that.
Yeah, half a point. Sorry, my math was completely wrong. Half a point of the neighborhood is on the market.
0.5. Yeah.
And what would be a lot? What have you seen?
Oh man, the extreme we talked about on Wednesday was like 50%, but that's when there were 600 or 800 homes.
Yeah, that was different time.
Back in the 80s.
Yeah. How about in the last 10 years? What's the most you've seen?
When it went down to the time of great unpleasantness, it was in the hundreds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So it was in the hundreds. Look, we never approached and anybody, Ray or any other real estate agent or Dan on there can correct me if I'm wrong, but we've never really approached anything north of 5% total, right? Maybe at some point we kind of broached it a little bit on it, but it was always kind of.
So I'll get the math right. That 5% would be 215. Okay, so you never have seen 215 listings?
I can't remember it, but I can't remember.
That's a lot.
I can't remember what I did 20 minutes ago.
Right.
So.
I don't know what I had for breakfast.
Yeah. So we'll have to text Mrs. Smith. What did I do this morning? But yeah, so it's never been that way. So the question to look at it, and I just can't pull this data all, is almost take a look at some other subdivisions and see what they used to have, that kind of thing. We can glean it a little bit right now. I can't go back and figure out what was active 10 years ago, but I can take a look at what's sold and then what the DOMs were at that point, and you can kind of extrapolate it out that way on what it was. But
what surprised me, and then I'm going to get out of your way, was the 7th. I know we can't talk specific addresses.
Yes.
Is that the rule?
I think we'll stick with that rule.
Is that the rule?
Yeah,
okay,
we'll stick. Well, let's.
Because I have too much respect for you not to
Yeah,
follow.
let's talk in general.
And generally, you don't like to follow the rules. So if you're saying this is a rule, we better follow this rule.
Yeah, some of them I really do.
I know. So that's the rule, right?
All right.
What surprised me is there's a home under $200,000.
Yeah, sure.
And it looks, and it's in decent condition.
Yeah.
It's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's not particularly large. It's 1,200 square feet, but you would call it the quintessential starter home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the quintessential starter home under $200,000 in Lake Monticello, and the home has not moved.
It's on 14. I'm looking at it right now. It's on 14 days.
Yeah, that surprised me the most. That's really an indication of a shift, I would say.
Yeah. So, but it's. I'm reading the notes in here just so it needs a little bit of help. It does have Quest
Plumbing.
Quest Plumbing in it.
Has
So
new HVAC and a new water heater.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking installed this year.
Correct. Yeah. So this kind of goes back to, and it's in a somewhat decent. It's on Jefferson Drive. It's in a somewhat decent part of Lake Monticello. But to go back to the 5 things.
Quarter acre.
Yeah, and sometimes until you get eyes on something, it's really hard to determine it on the condition and all that and stuff like that. But location matters, right? And one side of the lake may be different than the other side of the lake, right? And golf courses are different than the acres, right?
Sure.
And waterfront's different than everything. So you really have to look at it.
But during the pandemic, there was a war in the front yard for this house.
Yeah. But
was there not?
Yeah, but aren't we glad it's not there? I mean, I'm glad it's not there anymore, personally.
Right. But it's a microcosm of O shift.
Yeah, I mean, look, look, somebody won. There was always a winner in this, right? Somebody kind of won. I look at this as just throw a different pivot at here on this. What we're starting to see, or I'm personally starting to see, is sellers starting to have the conversation of let's put my home on the market because now maybe I can buy something, right? I've got enough equity built in because I bought it 10 years ago or whatever it is, right? The price is going to start adjusting a little bit, and that's what both of these articles were talking about. They're not going to go, negative any numbers. They're just not going to be these huge double-digit increases, which really they shouldn't. That's not healthy.
Right.
We've talked about this for quite some shows. But the reality of it is now all of a sudden this seller is going, well, okay, great, now I can go buy that. But buy something. But it's interesting. This whole week I looked. Hold on a second. Let me change it.
Oh, that's a good question from Neil Williamson. Finish your thought here. I don't want to get because he's about to drop some knowledge.
No, he can go ahead and do it. I'm.
Remember the interesting comment because you're about to drop something good here. I don't want you to forget that. Okay, he's writing it down.
In red, no less.
Yeah. So a lot of comments coming in. This is from Neil Williamson. This is a great question. So the previous home I had in Redfields and owned in Redfields had Quest Plumbing and Quest Piping. And Quest, there's two, help me understand this. There's 2 kinds of Quests. Well, okay, it's the fittings that matter with the Quest.
It was 99% of the time, the failure was at the fittings.
Right, the right angle.
Well, or whatever fitting it was, a T or right angle, whatever it was, because the fittings were made out of Quest.
Exactly.
And believe me, I know that
You used to do
You
Quest.
used to do Quest. I used to own a plumbing company, right?
But it was pop. It was what everyone did.
Well, back in the 80s it was,
Yeah,
right. 80s and 90s, and then there was a lawsuit, and it kind of changed around a little bit on that. So we always used copper fittings.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Those are the good fittings.
Those are the good fittings. So generally, that's where the failures happen. That doesn't mean it didn't happen.
The copper fittings wore down less. Then what was the other fitting? What was the crappy fitting?
So it was actually made out of Quest, right? It was a plastic fitting, a Quest,
And it would crack.
And it would crack, yeah.
Yeah.
Under a certain amount of pressure.
So your Class A contractor is getting a question here.
Okay.
How much does Quest piping impact home value from Neil?
So
That's a good question.
it doesn't. Well, there you go, huh? Maybe yes, maybe.
Yes, maybe no, yes.
Okay, show's over. We spend too much. That's it. We're done. Neil, come on, get over here and finish this up for us.
Yes, maybe.
Which, speaking of which,
He's coming on.
Yeah, when I'm out west doing some seminars and a couple of speaking engagements, he's going to sit in this spot.
Well, how much is it? How much answer the men's question?
I'm trying to avoid it.
Well, it comes up.
So it's a matter how you communicate it with the other side.
Okay.
Right. So it depends on which hat I'm wearing at the time, right? So if I'm wearing a listing hat at that particular point, and I know I have copper fittings in there, then I'm going to put in the agent notes, hey, this has copper fittings, yada 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 yada. And I don't have the listing in front of me. It may state that. If it doesn't have copper fittings, my suggestion to my seller will be, hey, we need to get in here and do something about this. Because it will impact.
It will become an issue. Now
it'll become so. 6 months ago,
yeah, it didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
Well, 6 months ago, turkeys flew in hurricanes.
That's right.
All right, Yoda? Turkeys flew in hurricanes.
The next hurricane, I'm going to bring a turkey.
I want to see if turkeys can really fly in a hurricane. Yeah.
Well, I think the point is the wind blows the
right.
turkey.
Is that what the point is?
I don't know, Jerry. I'm
only on a half. Her metaphor was over our heads.
And our hair almost stopped it.
Tresemme, and some pomade in mine.
I couldn't miss that.
Does Smith use the same cocktail, Tresemme and pomade?
I refuse to talk about that.
Okay.
Maybe yes, maybe no. Yeah.
Follow-up question on a different Facebook page.
So the point is, 6 months ago, even 3 months ago,
it didn't matter.
It didn't matter. Now it matters, right?
Yeah.
And now as a buyer side, for my personal thing, if I show in a home, I'll get a quick eyeball on it, and I'll know within 5 minutes, look, then I'll have a conversation with the agent, and then we kind of move on from there, a conversation with our client.
Jennifer Caradero says, we've looked at homes with Quest plumbing before, and we're told it costs between $10,000 and $15,000 to replace all the Quest plumbing.
It depends on the house.
Yeah, because the size of the house and
this
how much plumbing you have.
I can't remember the square
footage. There's no way that's going to be $10,000 for that.
Well, that's an interesting thing. It may be, because now you can't find a plumber.
Good point.
Right? Historically, maybe that's a 6,000, 5,000. I can't remember. I moved on to something else. I can't remember the square footage of it.
It's 1,200 square feet.
Yeah. It's on a crawl space, so more than likely everything is below. It's easy to get to. And you don't necessarily have to replace all the Quest piping if it has, good Lord, he's smiling. That's never good.
Neil shared a meme.
Did he? Really?
The meme is, as God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. Neil?
Well, they fly for a little distance, don't they?
Well, they kind of hop.
Yeah.
But I think your point was right, that the wind is pushing the turkey around.
Oh.
After you said that, I then got what she meant.
Oh, I thought you always...
No, I had no idea. I had no idea what Yona meant.
Yeah. I think that's a kind of a Yona-ism of even, what is it, a blind squirrel can find an acorn every once in a while or something.
Yeah,
something along that. But that's a classic Yona-ism.
But now that you explained it, I get it now.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
Yeah, well...
Because the wind is pushing the turkey around.
Yeah,
so basically saying that we're not doing any work.
Yeah, so this kind of originated with a guy by the name of Brian Buffini, and I guess Yona kind of used it a little bit, but the metaphor on it is that up until now, it required skills, but the level of skills you need now to have this Quest conversation, right? Now, in fairness, I'm a unique animal for many reasons.
Well, you got the Class A.
Yeah,
you know what's up.
I just know what it is. Yeah, because I carry a license, and I've got a certified plumber's license and gas fitter's license.
Yeah, it's a perfect topic for you.
Yeah. Well,
so the follow-up question is this: If you see
Don't
Quest,
ask me to do any plumbing, by the way.
here's a good follow-up question.
Yeah.
If you do see Quest in a home, how would Keith handle that from a negotiation standpoint if you choose to purchase the house? That's a great question.
Yeah, so I think I kind of alluded to it a little bit. I'd look at it, I always stick my head down in a crawl space real quickly and kind of just kind of get an eyeball on what's down in there. And if I would have seen, I think that was the right word.
You did it right.
Yeah. Right. Seen, took a look at, went, oh boy. A Quest fitting, a plastic fitting, then we'd have a conversation out in the driveway and go, look, how much do you love the house? Let's assess the market, let's assess the price, let's assess where everything is at, right? And then if you love the house on a scale of 1 to 10 to 5, then the negotiating the offer is going to be a little bit different. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 9 or a 10, then I'll take it from a different approach. So there really is never one approach to these things. It's so specific on the individual that's buying or selling and what we're trying to accomplish.
Katie Pearl's got this comment for you.
Katie, it was great to see you the other day.
She's a superhero.
I wanted to go kind of snuggle with she brought I believe it was her youngest baby with her, and I kind of wanted to turn my grandpa on and go, I got this. But every time I tried to do that, she ran away from me. I don't quite understand why.
Wait, Katie or the baby?
Probably both.
Okay.
The baby can't even, I don't think can ever crawl, but it was looking to get away.
She's a mother of 5,
Yeah.
a talented realtor.
Awesome.
And she says this, Keith.
She got an award too, I think. If I
An award winner.
I think so, but Katie will correct me if I'm wrong.
She says, inspectors have told me in the past if you have the latest version of Quest pipes with the copper fittings, and if it has been fine for over 20 years, you are likely fine and not needing to replace the plumbing. And that's what I was told when I bought the house in Redfield.
So that's spot on.
My old house.
That's spot on.
They had the copper fittings.
So that's the conversation we'll have at the curbside, right? Go, look, it's been around for 20 years. It's got copper fittings. There's no evidence of leaking or anything like that. There's no evidence of a repair on it. This is a quick eyeball. The home inspection is intended to do that and spend hours through the home. But, if you're trying to make a decision, if I want to buy home A or home B, we got to have that hard discussion. So I just looked up car footprint 5 days since Monday till this morning. 56 new homes came on the market, 76 went into pending. So we're still, I don't know what the ratio on that is. I can't do that quickly in my head, but we're still putting more on the contract today than we are bringing into the market. So that's just a quick little 5-day snapshot.
We have a couple of folks watching on LinkedIn with questions. We'll get to the LinkedIn channel. Wow, the Quest is making an impact here on the show.
Well, it was a big thing, right? It was a big lawsuit. It was those of us who have been around in the 80s and the 90s in the business. It was a thing, right? But Katie's analogy or Katie's read on it is spot on. If it's been around a while and it's copper, generally you're in good shape.
Katie Pearl, well said. Great comment. We love when you watch the program. Dan Pettit wants you to talk the new construction that is happening at Lake Monticello. He references Liberty, and he also said it looks like Liberty is doing a price escalation of $10,000 with its new construction. He brings that up. Dan confirms that he does have an investment property at the lake. So he knows that market quite well, as does Keith and Yona. And he says this, I'm renting the investment home at the lake. Also, I've seen more price reductions lately, and new construction, Liberty Homes, is increasing their listings by $10,000. I want you to talk about that.
Well, I need to double check that, and I would never doubt Dan, the man there, but I actually saw the numbers drop a little bit. Maybe they went back up. I haven't really looked closely at new construction in a while, but I'm gonna while you're chatting, I'm gonna do that right
Vanessa
now.
Parkhill, the Queen of Earlysville, welcome to the program. So we're highlighting Lake Monticello. He lives at Lake Monticello. He knows it well. There's 4,300 homes at Lake Monticello. It's the largest neighborhood by rooftops in the car footprint, the Central Virginia footprint, 4,300 homes. There's 20 active listings in Lake Monticello right now, 20. That's the most there's been in years at Lake Monticello. Interestingly, we're highlighting one specific listing, this one on Jefferson Drive, that's priced under $200,000 at $199,000, and it's been on the market for, you said 14 days?
Yeah.
14 days of DOM during the pandemic. This had a literal buyer battle in the front yard, and it's an indication of the market shifting. Keith?
Yeah, so Dan is spot on. I'm looking at a unit. There's only one new construction in Lake Monticello, excuse me, that is Liberty, and there was a 10 grand increase on the home. It started at 325, 450, and it's now 335, 450.
And what do you make of that? That's what he wants your take on that.
Yeah, it could be material cost, it could be availability. There's literally, that was for a while multiple ones on the market. Right now there's one, so they may not have enough product to sell. They may slow it down. There could be a myriad of reasons why it's doing. I'm trying to take a look at the history real quick here on that end of it where the price change did it. So it was a price change. It price changed back in February, actually, from the 325 to 335. So my suspicion is it probably was some cost or something along those lines.
What was the note that you wrote in red on your pad that you were going to highlight?
I drew a picture of a face.
You're supposed to write the note. Oh. You had something really smart you were going to say.
Yeah, no, there was a box and there's a face.
He drew a smiley face.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to.
On his notepad.
Judah's my hero, right? I'm trying to.
I told him to write note so he didn't forget what he said. And there's
so
a smiley face over there.
Yeah. I think it's more.
It's
more of a Dali. Salvador Dali smiley face, maybe a Picasso.
Does the memory remember what you were going to say?
Of course not.
Damn it.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Damn it. I knew I shouldn't have interrupted you.
What? Why do you think I got you here for?
I should have interrupted you. Come on, do you not remember what you were going to say?
I literally don't remember it.
Oh, man, you were going to say
Judy, do you remember what we were talking about? It was Liza, wasn't it?
Quest Plumbing and Neil got us off topic.
Damn Neil, he does it all the time.
Forgot what he was going to say. Bill McChency, welcome to the program.
Neil walks around with a sign when I'm in the car building. It says squirrel, squirrel, squirrel.
Dan said they had 4 not long ago, Keith.
Did they? Okay, great.
Yeah, they had 4 not long ago.
Got it.
So this question's coming in.
I think the way I wanted to get to just to wrap up this little joke about it was the 5-day analogy. That's what that. There's a 5 buried in this.
What was the 5? What was that?
What has came on in the last 5 days since Monday that in our car footprint, right? We had 56 come on, 75 go off, 11 back on market. There was 38 price changes. That's a big number. 86 sold on that. On that. So this is just a quick little snapshot that we have our little market monitor. So I wanted to see. Since we did the show on Monday. Actually, was I here Monday? No, I wasn't.
No, Monday you were off.
Nikki was
Shameless.
Nikki was. You say that like that's a bad thing, this whole off thing.
I mean, you have family.
I'm only kidding you. Yeah. So, yes, I just wanted to see what happened since Monday.
Nicholas Erpe. Nicholas, I love you so much.
Nikki, come in here and save me, buddy.
Dolly was my favorite artist in high school, so I'm fine with Keith doodling a face on the notepad. No, I love it, Nick.
I'm going to text you a picture of it. You tell me what it looks like.
Oh, so funny. You could probably hold it up so the viewers and listeners can see it.
I'm not so sure I want to embarrass.
I think that's probably a good idea. So here's a great question. This is a great question.
Mm-hmm.
With the rise in rates...
Let me write that down.
Get ready for this one.
Okay.
With the rise in rates and with inventory staying on the market longer, are we going to see seller financing coming back into this market? That's a great question.
I'm thinking,
Should we educate, should we enlighten the audience on seller financing first before you give the take?
We should enlighten the audience, the listeners and the viewers on it, the simple answer is when the seller wishes to finance the purchase, right? Generally what that means is they've paid it off, right? They're moving on. We've done one, the one rental that we own was a seller financed. It was a client of ours.
Everything I purchased in the Macklin building was seller finance.
Correct. And it was a tool to help the seller navigate the 1031.
Yeah.
Right. And I made a proposal to him. We did that. Look, seller finances, and I've been doing this for quite a while.
Complicated.
It's super complicated.
Yeah.
You don't really see a huge amount of them. Commercial's a different animal.
Right, commercial's different.
Right? That's you own the building.
Commercial's different.
Right? You paid everything off. You're ready to go retire or whatever you're going to do. You sell it to Judah. You get a little bit of a 10% down, 20% down.
Non-refundable.
Non-refundable. And you get a paycheck. You get a check every month.
And you minimize some tax exposure.
And
you help the buyer because purchasing property from a commercial standpoint is brutal, way more difficult than residential.
And if I don't pay,
you take it back and sell it again.
You get your building back.
Yeah. It's phenomenal for the seller.
But you got to be.
It's good for the buyer.
On the commercial side, residential, it doesn't happen very often. I've actually have a standing order out with Suzanne Reel with Allied Property that if she comes across one of our rentals for a seller finance, please give us a call. Well, we'll be more than happy to take a look at it on that end of it.
I like it.
Yeah, well, if you want to use, unless you're using cash, right, and you want to finance something, particularly an investment property, it's way north of 6%. The math just doesn't work, right? On that, unless you put a substantial amount of cash down and frankly, based on some great advice that we're giving for the ERPs, we're kind of holding a little bit of our cash, which we were planning to do anyway.
ERP's watching right now?
Yeah.
What was the advice they gave you? Emergent Financial Services, Nicholas ERP. I know you're watching here, but I would say this no matter what. Some of the best in the game, Emergent Financial Services, the ERPs.
So the answer was, shut up and listen to me. I went, okay.
So they said...
yeah, well, it's diversification, right? So we always coach. We do a lot of coaching for real estate agents and stuff like that, and business owners. And as a self-employed business owner, you probably want to have several months of operating cash put aside if there's a hiccup on it. The more you have, the better you are off, in my opinion, on it. If sales start slowing down.
So you don't think the seller finance vehicles are going to come back into play? The financing.
It will. I think when. And commercial is super, and I'm trying to get Johnny to come on the show, but
Johnny Pritzloff.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
JP.
He doesn't think he's pretty enough. And
come on, JP.
I disagree with that.
Come on, JP.
When right now commercial is doing great. I've got a bunch of commercial projects for the tail half of this year, but at some point that may change, and that's when seller financing will start working. Where Keith and Jerry scratch our head and go, look, let's buy that building. The math will work. The seller doesn't have to pay 1031.
But no, the viewers and listeners are asking residential. You don't see it coming in residential.
No. Again, it'd be very one-off scenario because if it's got a loan, there's a first deed of trust.
Exactly.
Right. So I'm going to either have to give you enough money, cash, to pay off the deed of trust.
So what he's saying is, if someone who owns a home, they still have a mortgage on it. For them to do a seller finance deal, they have to pay off the mortgage.
They have to close it out.
They have to close it out before they can carry the paper for the new buyer, because the house is the collateral. Right. And if you're passing ownership of the house to another party, the mortgage company is going to be give us our money.
And the second part of that is there's so much equity built up. Even if the rest of the year is somewhere between 4% and 8% appreciation, all that equity got built up over the years is still there, right? And back to my comment about sellers saying, okay, it looks like the market is shifting. I want to sell and buy, which is a great conversation to have. But if you're looking at 56 coming on and 75 going off, we're not even at par as far as coming on and going off.
So you still don't see this as a balanced market yet? As of today, no. Today it's not balanced. Still the leverage is on the side of the sellers, you would say?
No.
You say where's the pendulum swung?
So
it's not in the middle.
It depends, right? right? This is when me working with politicians for
maybe yes, maybe no yes is coming.
So yes,
right
well,
here.
I'm going to answer the question and maybe not answer it at the same time. Look, it's back to my comment about location and the where, right? So we've just recently did a transaction over the weekend, right? It was in the city, it was in the sevens, I think the upper sixes, low sevens, if I remember correctly, multiple offers. You know, we needed.
Can I ask the neighborhood?
I prefer not to do that. It was centrally located. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Duplex too, of all things, right? Which is not common in Charlotte. Actually, I take that back. It was in the urban ring.
Okay.
It was in the urban ring of Albemarle County. But the point is that skill set had to be like it was 3 months ago, right? If I'm trying to help somebody buy a $150,000, $200,000 house in, let's say, Lake Monticello, in a certain area, there's a different set of skill sets that you have to bring to the table, right? Because it's different. Maybe the buyer is in more control at that particular point. So, again, this is when the three things show up on my phone every morning: be professional, be caring, be trustworthy. It changes from situation to situation. And it's a matter of education and communication.
Well said. You handled that very well.
I think there's a sizzle reel somewhere.
I think that was pretty damn good. Keith Smith, the Platinum Award winner.
Did I not answer the question well enough?
I thought you answered it perfectly. Keith, this question's come in. This is more of a Scott Morris question, but we understand why it's on top of people's minds. Grayson says, so how high does Keith think the rates are going to get this year?
Wow.
That's a Scott question, right?
It's totally a Scott question. He kind of covered it a little bit on Wednesday.
I thought so too.
And
Scott's called it pretty damn accurately so far.
I would, this kind of reason, it must be the jarhead thing, the Marine thing. But yeah, he called it pretty good. There was going to be a dip, and then we're climbing back up, which we're looking like that's what's happening here. I'm not so sure all the recessionary news is kind of impacted. I haven't looked at it today.
I mean, the markets were green before the show started. I think a lot of this.
I'm talking about the 30-year.
The 30. I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, I to his point, I think it's been priced in a little bit.
Yeah.
On that. But if I had to pull out that crystal ball to my right and make a prediction, I think we're going to be in this. I know this is a wide swath here, but I think we're going to be somewhere in the 6 to 7. But heck, the end of last year, I was saying it wasn't going to go over 4, right, or whatever it was, 4.5. So nobody really knows.
Let's see. I'm calling it up as we speak. The 30-year fixed rate at close of business yesterday was, depending on your credit score, in the 5.8 vicinity, pending credit score. Woody Fincham.
So that's approaching 6.
Yeah.
It was 5.3 a couple of weeks ago, if I remember correctly.
Beginning of the year, 30-year fixed with good credit was
0.
Low 3s.
Yeah,
we're talking damn near close to 2x on this. Let's go to Fincham. We love Woody Fincham on this program, Fincham and Associates. With regards to seller financing, it's not uncommon for the owner to create a pocket deed and not file it. Of course, very risky if the seller's lender finds out.
Yeah.
They could call the note. We saw quite a bit of it pre-Great Recession.
Yeah.
There are still some investors in the Valley doing it often. Wow.
Yeah.
That's risky as all get out.
Yeah, that just scares the hell out of me.
You want to explain that in layman's to the viewers and listeners?
Yeah. So, in essence, you're lying to your lender.
You are lying to your lender.
That's it.
You're selling your house and you're not telling your lender you sold your house.
Now, it's even...
And I think there's language in the contract that's felonious.
There's language, and other agents and Woody can chime in. It's in the loan documents. It's not necessarily in the contract, right? Because once it closes, it closes. So the terms in the contract go away at closing. This becomes the deed, the first deed of trust that you sign. And my suspicion is most of that was conventional stuff. I can tell you the federally backed loans, if you lie on that's
jail time.
It's some serious stuff. And it's part of why I think, and Woody can either confirm or deny this, that's why I think a lot of underwriters are just taking these harder looks at it because they don't want a repeat of some insanity.
Travis Hackworth watching in Danville, commenting on your page. I love this.
Yeah, I need to give him a shout out. I've got to dig that up. He's doing some awesome. Did you see the posting I did on that? He's doing an awesome housing conference. I'll let you talk a little bit.
Travis Hackworth is Mr. Danville.
Mr. Danville
Loves Danville.
And actually, he and I
love the Danville flavor on the I Love Seville network.
Well, I'm going to do a little wandering down there, but I need to find so I can get this 100%.
He says, Keith, 6 to 7. Are you thinking this year or 2023 for the rates?
I think it's the end of this year.
End of this year, 6 to 7.
It depends on how this recessionary process goes for the rest of the year, right? And in my opinion, if we call this inflation is the key here, right?
Kevin Yancey thinks it's going to be 8+ by the end of Q4.
Yeah, I know
Mr. Waynesboro.
I know people saying 9 to 10, right?
By the end of this year.
By the end of this year, yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, I don't. I'm going to lean on Scott's read on it a little bit. He's in it all the time. But to go back to Travis and give a shout out, Google this. On August 18th, they're going to do a Southern Virginia Regional Housing Summit, and basically it's and he can drop it in the feed if he's still watching on it. But this is a great opportunity to take a look at Danville and what they're trying to do to combine housing and economic development.
Yeah, dude, he put this on my radar. The city of Danville partnered with a Wisconsin developer.
Yeah.
And the Wisconsin developer is taking a building that's been forgotten, a mill, and converting it to condos, apartments.
So you have to ask yourself, why do they do it and we don't?
That's exactly what I said yesterday.
Yeah.
Why don't we do that?
Yeah, and you know,
how hard did you and Chris Kabash work to try to bring the Baltimore developer to the Kim's property on Cherry Avenue? Was it Evergreen or something like that? The Baltimore developer?
Is it Evergreen or Enterprise?
Is that what it was? Enterprise. And they were Baltimore specialized in affordable housing, right?
Excuse me. Yeah, they specialize in affordable housing. Yeah, I didn't.
And they didn't want anything to do with us.
I actually didn't have gray hair before I started that. But
right?
Yeah. But it's the same thing with the land trust, and it's just a lot of work and a little. If you can tag Caitlin Mancini, a little shout out to Caitlin. Caitlin and I are working on one of her buyers for one of the land trust houses, and I thank her that she's really doing a great job. And
I'm gonna do it right now.
Thank you,
Caitlin Mancini. You're getting some props on the program.
Yeah, she is a pro at it, and we're working together trying to help it. What she shared with me after she took a look at one of the houses over there, that the family were in tears in the front yard, and that's why you do something like that. So a little shout out to her.
Caitlin, just tagged you in the post, getting props from Keith Smith on the program.
But please Google this, look up this.
He shared the link.
Okay, good, perfect. I haven't spoken to Travis yet. I'm going to hopefully do that next week. I'm going to try to get some coffee with him when I come back from out west. But
in Danville?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I wander. Yeah, I like to wander.
Okay.
I'll put my bike on the back. We negotiated it. I'm going to put the bike on the back of the truck, go out and wander.
You're going to wander from Seattle to Danville on a bicycle?
No.
Okay. No. What are you doing?
Okay, let's go over this turkey thing.
Yeah, please. Are you flying into Danville?
No, after I get back.
Okay.
From out west.
Okay.
I'm going to connect with him.
Okay.
Right, out in Danville.
Okay.
Right, maybe the end of August, maybe the beginning of September.
They're doing the designated outdoor refreshment area, the Dora.
I know that, and I'm going to put my bike on the back of the truck.
That sounds fun.
I'm going to go and do a bike ride and hopefully have lunch with Travis and pick his brain a little bit, because I want to, as you know, I vice chair it now. I used to chair it. Ned Galloway's chairing it, the Regional Housing Partnership, and see if there's some way we can at least start communicating at that level.
Woody says it's usually in the deed of trust.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so it's a recorded document. You are signing it. It's notarized. Man, I tell you what. I'm good with coloring outside the lines, but that's beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's incredibly risky for the seller carrying the paper.
Did I send you the City Lab? A college town takes on exclusionary zoning?
I would love. No, you did not.
I did not.
You want to give us the thesis or the nut graph of that?
Yeah. So is Neil still on? Mm-hmm. He could probably find it and attach it. So Gainesville, I think, if I read the article correctly, hang on one second. Gainesville, Florida. I believe it's next week. Hang on one second. Yeah, next week, they're basically going to be doing what Seattle and Oregon, I don't know if I said that right, and Washington have done, is basically removing exclusionary zoning for single-family detached. So basically what we've been talking about, and Neil for sure has been talking about for quite some time, this missing middle, right, on it. And I will throw a concern out there.
Okay.
And I've seen this happen several times over the decades. So what my concern is, if the market does an O shift and let's say becomes a little slower.
Okay. Well, people are predicting that.
What my concern is housing affordability will kind of go out the window.
What does that mean?
Well, so what happens is that
people forget about it?
No, governments and nonprofits will start tightening their belts, which is usually what happens with this, because that's the way they operate their budgets and operate their stuff, where maybe a business would look at it as an opportunity and go out and buy. That's what I hope happens. What I hope happens if things start stabilizing a little bit and there's no these huge multiple offers on stuff, that these nonprofits and governments can come in and buy property. Right? Does that make any sense? But I've seen it happen before, particularly in the time of great unpleasantness. Everything just shut down, right? Money shut down. You know, nonprofits were on their heels.
Well, how about this question that's come in the feed from Steven watching the program? Steven, where are you watching? You comment on the show a lot. We'd love to give you a moniker.
Did that make any sense?
That made sense. That made sense. He has this question is, if the market turns as you're indicating and the inventory stays longer, what will that do for lowering home prices to make it more affordable to buy? It's not going to.
It's not. No.
Yeah.
So I just
explain that.
Well, I want to be abundantly clear. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen, right? I'm not predicting quote unquote a turn, right? That implies we're going backwards, right? What I'm just saying where the market is going to go is that all the experts are saying it, to include Dr. Lisa Sturtevant on that. I'm just regurgitating her writings on this. We're just going to slow down, right? So the appreciation is going to happen, which means prices are going to go up. And this is what my fear is, right? So if all of a sudden the city of Charlottesville kind of puts the brakes on its rezoning and providing the zoning to do missing middle for whatever reason, I've seen this happen before on it. The good news is I won't shave my mustache off.
Neil's watching.
I know he is. Yeah. And so that's my concern is that they tend to put their foot on the brake and they hit it hard instead of saying, okay, there's an opportunity here to get this now done on it. So I don't know if that made any sense or not, but
that makes sense.
I don't see a turnaround. I just see a normal low single digits, high single digits appreciation.
This is a good question.
Because you're not just going to have, the point I'm trying to make is unless this happens, unless this rezoning happens and allows more density, the economics 101 is still going to stay in place. There's just not going to be enough at the right price point for people to buy, and the pool may come down a little bit, but it's still going to be there.
Well said. Do you keep updates, this question, on rental market and evictions by landlords?
I do not.
Who keeps track of that? Does anyone?
So the issue with rentals is there's so many different platforms that they're on. I think Susan would be a good...
Suzanne,
excuse me,
yeah.
Would be a good source on that. But it would be the local governments, right? Okay, so are we hearing... is your increase of rental assistance picking up, right? Or what's the legal aid? What's the actual name of the legal aid? The local legal aids, right? You could possibly reach out to that. On the street, I'm not hearing anything, but that's not really a world we're too deep into at the moment.
Neil shared a Buffalo Trace bottle on the feed over here. We are stocked very well of Buffalo Trace, thanks to the generosity of Woody Fincham. In fact, it's the biggest
So,
bottle of
is
Buffalo
he-
Trace I've ever seen. I mean, literally, it's ginormous.
Yeah, I have a cold. I should have had some cold medicine.
You should have had some medicine. Although you've managed it well.
Yeah,
You feel the adrenaline from the show, right?
it's sitting across from you, man.
Oh, what a gentleman. Thank you kindly for saying that.
I'm muscling my way through it. Just a little bit of a sore throat.
So why don't, in the name of having a sore throat and the fact that
No,
the
I'm
show
good.
has been a 10 out of 10 so far.
So in other words, Smith, don't screw it
No,
up.
I mean, it's like the Costanza in Seinfeld, going out on the high note.
That's right.
You know, I'm out of here. When he was in the meeting with the Yankees.
Yeah. I dropped the mic, but Judah
Judah
would
get pissed. Judah would get pissed.
Judah would
You
yell.
don't want to see Judah
No.
pissed. You don't want to see pissed.
No.
Travis says,
Lisa
Keith,
might lick me to death.
Travis says, Keith, we have a 9-mile river walk trail
yeah.
system you can hit with your bike and 15 miles of mountain biking trails.
Well, I'll pass on the mountain biker, but I'll take you up on that.
Riverwalk, nice.
I've already scoped out a couple of routes.
So you're
out there.
going to Danville.
Yeah, I'd like to sit. I'd like to wander. I'd like to look how other people. That's the reason we're going out west, right?
Amazing. Travis, you should hook him up with Lee, the councilman.
Yeah, we've been going back and forth. I'll
Yeah.
buy somebody lunch. Any way that I can get better at what I do, I'm all over it.
I love it. I love it. It's so awesome. I love this. So you took a phone call from Kevin Higgins, the King of Greenwood, on the way in, and you're going to go visit a viewer and listener of the program when you come back from your trip to the West. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'll just have to use slang language out at Danville because maybe my Yankee accent might. Travis, you're going to protect me, right?
I get the impression you get along and you fit in anywhere you go.
Yeah.
Dealing with people is you're a Hall of Famer when it comes to that.
Well, I don't know about that.
That's your skill.
Well, we just like people.
like people.
Like to talk to people.
Yeah, we like people.
We're in the people business,
One of
man.
the people are great.
in the
My
people
always like, why do you always talk to everybody? I like people. I like talking. You learn from everybody.
Yeah, but does it follow up? How come you don't talk to me?
She actually said to me this morning, and she's watching the show right now, I feel like I haven't seen you in days. I'm like, sweetheart, we see each other often, so I got to give her some special time. Special time this weekend. She's so busy. She's playing in a pickleball tournament on Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So she's been training for this pickleball tournament.
Oh.
And she's getting quite good.
Do I see a husband-wife team here?
We've talked mixed doubles.
Yeah,
We
cool.
would play mixed doubles, my wife and I, and we have played mixed doubles. In fact, we won our division of the, what's the one that comes first, Memorial or Labor Day?
Memorial. Labor's on the back
Okay,
end.
Memorial,
Memorial's on
yeah.
the front
We
end.
won our division of the Memorial
Really? Cool.
Boar's Head tournament,
Cool.
and we didn't argue. That's the tough part about playing mixed doubles with your
How
wife.
many years you been married?
We have been married for 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years plus.
Yeah. So there's that. When Yona and
Playing mixed doubles with your wife or your partner or your husband is not easy.
Yona and I will not run together.
It's not easy.
Or bike together because we get super competitive and I'm trying to coach Yona and she looks at me trying to, whatever. So we've learned a long time ago. We do not do things
Well,
like.
you did the 10-miler together with your girls.
I did, which was not a genius
And you
move.
came back a little banged up. I'm sorry I laughed there. I was not laughing. I think your girls did say don't do this. Platinum.
I think everybody said don't do this.
But now you're good. Dan Pettit, that is so true.
Took me 3 months.
Dan Pettit says if you want to stay married, don't play together. And this is Dan Pettit coming from a
He's
tennis
talking
player.
about sports,
And
right?
he's-
I just want to make sure.
Dan's wife
'Cause I
is
was
a hell of a
getting-
tennis player.
I was getting nervous there for a while.
Dude, mixed doubles with your better half, you're walking on eggshells.
So, you and I are very similar. We talk all day long. When you get home, do you just want to shut up?
I mean, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I
and
talk
then,
all day long.
And then the significant other is
She's
like,
once.
can I have a 15-minute conversation with you? Right? You have a glass of something, have a little dinner, because I'd imagine the scenario is the same as us, right? It's like we talked about it this morning. It was like we did not get home any earlier than 9 o'clock any night this week so far.
Well, that's because you guys love to go out to dinner.
No, this was from work.
Oh, you didn't go out to dinner?
No.
You didn't go out to dinner this week?
We have not gone out to dinner this week. Actually, depending on how my little cold is going.
Tavola?
Yeah, maybe. I haven't visited them in a few weeks.
And you need your fix.
Yeah, that just sounded wrong.
Well, I mean, you love the restaurant.
I love the restaurant. I love the martini over there, but you get after talking all day is people. It's hard to do that. At least for me, anyway.
Oh, the quiet time at home is the recharge for the next day of talking all day.
But then, you know,
we're extroverts, extreme extroverts, he and I. But even an extreme extrovert needs downtime.
And then as you get a little bit later in your marriage, right, you know, when you hit the double-digit years together, much like what we're doing here, you just kind of say something without saying something, right? You start reading each other's mind and body language and all that kind of great stuff. But so we kind of talk all day. We talk business all day, and then you know sometimes you just need to shut down in the evening. But we didn't get home until 9 o'clock and driving home going, okay, what do you want to do for dinner? No, what do you want to do for dinner? And
so what'd you guys do? Eat the Oreos at the house? You love the Oreos. You love the Oreos.
Maybe with a little vanilla Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Maybe I might
living a good life.
Well, you know, that's the reason I put all the miles in every day, so I can burn a little bit of calories of the ice cream.
Nicholas Erpy, one comment, and then we'll get some closing thoughts from Platinum Smith over here, the award winner. Nicholas Erpy.
That was Yona and the team, not me.
I'm teaching my wife tennis. I did not have to teach her cards, however. She killed all three Erpy brothers at poker one night. She is the queen of the chips. Nicholas Erpy has also outkicked his coverage, and he's got an amazingly talented and beautiful wife.
Excuse me. So we play cards all the time.
Yeah, canasta.
And I can count on one hand in years I ever won. And it's just, you know, how deflating that is.
Well, I mean, she's a genius.
You know, I don't know what it is, right? If you ever play canasta on its two decks, right? You have you have the cards in the middle, and anyway, so you got to open up with 60 points, yada yada yada. And if she puts a card down, if I have a pair on one of them, I can grab the whole pile and build some points. And I'll have like 3 pairs, right? And every card she puts down bounces around those numbers, and I put one card down, and she picks up the whole pile, and I go, damn it. And then that's when I put my cards.
And you would have it no other. You would have it no other way.
Oh,
you
of course
love
not.
it.
Of course,
you
not.
absolutely love it.
I'd like to win one. So.
Yona, let the man win, Yona.
No, she tried. It's funny. You can watch her. She actually tries to do that. And then it just kicks in.
And too, everybody wants to know, Yona's working right now. She's on a listing appointment.
Yeah,
Keith and I are talking about Yona, and she's on a listing appointment right now, grinding for YRP.
I caught her the other day. She listens to the show afterwards.
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Well,
I've said nothing but incredibly amazing things, but they're all true. Okay, so you don't put your foot in your mouth. She knows I love her.
Yeah.
I champion her constantly on this show. She knows that. All right, so give the viewers and listeners some final ammunition here. How about a tease for Monday as well?
Yeah, so, you know what? I don't think I have much lined up for...
Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin on Monday. Wednesday we'll have Scott. Friday, but after Friday, we're heading out west.
Huh?
So I think you know, I kind of love this.
Oh, same.
And but I do have some awesome lined ups for later in August and September. We're kind of get back to these round tables. I've been kind of waiting to September to do it, particularly the political side of things. Neil's going to kind of hopefully kick it off
Love it,
at the end of August, or you know when we're gone. On that, I can't remember the exact date on it, but we're going to start doing that. I actually had a request from Christine Jacobs.
Okay.
I'm going to put her on the spot here with the Thomas Jefferson Planning District Commission because she wants to talk a little bit about.
She's coming on?
Transit. Yeah, she agreed.
Very nice.
She said she only wants to be on for 10 minutes. I said, yeah.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
You haven't watched the show.
No, I've told her yes.
Okay. Oh, you told her yes?
Of course.
Get ready for an hour.
I may have had my fingers crossed.
Get ready for an hour.
I had my both fingers crossed and my toes crossed on that end of it.
Yes Realty Partners, guys, won a Platinum Award from Keller Williams Alliance this week for production. YesRealtyPartners.com. All the shows are archived online at RealTalkWithKeithSmith.com. RealTalkWithKeithSmith.com. Judah Wickower deserves accolades and attention and a praise. He's the director. Can we get your face on screen so you could wave to everybody, your adoring fans? Judah Wickower?
Adoring fans.
Yeah. He has many of them. There he is, Judah Wickower. We love Judah. And we love Keith.
I love you, man. This was fun, and there's so many people in our family tree that makes us successful, but you guys are definitely part of the tree.
Thank you.
You're in the roots of that. So thank you.
That means a
Thank you
lot
for
to us.
everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to the viewers and listeners, guys. The I Love Seville show is up in 59 minutes. Thank you kindly for watching Real Talk with Keith Smith right here on the I Love Seville Network. Take care, everyone. Good job, Keith. Kick-ass show.
Well.